Hello, I'm Bonnie Gordon, and this is the Shuttlepod show.
And like, I'm shooting the arrows and they're not even hitting the target. And
They're hitting the crew.
It's so embarrassing.
Right.
Ow! I'm hitting like a random PA that's running with coffee. You know, and then my horse takes off.
Right. You shot me.
My horse's name was Crazy. And I was like, why is he called Crazy? And the horse trainer was like, don't worry about it. I'm like,
Gonna go and do my convention thing. Got my costume, I'm going now. Yeah, we're having a ball. It's Star Trek, y'all. Hey, down the border, beam me up.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Shuttlepod Show. Today we have very special guest, Bonnie Gordon. We'll be answering your fan questions, doing some Star Trek trivia, finding ourselves on Connor's remote island, and much more. As always, our Patreon members get a full extended version of this. I'm Erica Larose, but before we move on, we have a special message from Andrew Robinson.
Like, subscribe, and join us on Patreon.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. It comes by every week.
He does. I never really hear him.
Me neither.
But no, Andy uses a big shout out to have people become Patreon members.
And now for our hosts, Connor Trinneer and Dominic Keating.
Well, hello.
How are you?
Yeah,
Great.
love the red dress, the
It's still
multicolored
spring.
dress. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Erica's getting styled.
Right.
these days
Jober.
By
Woo.
Jober. God
That's
bless
right.
Jober Velasco.
Heart.
Our guest this week is, frankly, the it girl of Star Trek and the whole thing, you know, nerdyville,
the nerdoms.
When I was reading your Wikipedia page, it's Bonnie Gordon, by the way, people. It's Bonnie Gordon.
I'm not quite sure how accurate my Wikipedia is. I should probably go and make
We were
sure.
talking about that today about, you know, anybody can kind of go in and edit
Right.
into your Wikipedia. You know, God
Yeah.
knows what they're saying.
I know. I
I
mean,
daren't even read mine.
I should
might not.
On that
see.
very account.
Have you
first
edited
met
your own?
Bonnie, I met you on the sofa last year at
Yes, that sofa. Yeah.
At the
Star Trek
Vegas
Las Vegas.
convention upstairs
On a
in the
panel.
Rod Roddenberry spacious lounge.
Yes, and we did a panel together
And
as
we
well.
did a little panel together. That's right, with John Billingsley.
Well, he crashed it. He wasn't
crashed
on the
it.
panel.
That's
He
right.
was eventually.
Well, I ended up crashing
He does
it
that
too.
all the time.
You crashed it too.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I welcomed that. I think because booze was involved too.
There were free drinks up
Free
there.
drinks on that panel. So all of a sudden, everyone just magically appeared for this
We were
one.
just-
Hey, what are you
panel.
guys doing?
Yeah. Oh, fancy us being
Yeah.
here with this free glass
First of all, we were just sitting in the audience, and then John went crashing up there with a whiskey.
Yep.
And
he
then he
does.
started talking shit about me, and I'm like, that'll do.
Right.
Yeah,
I can
it's
hear
great.
you.
Yeah, still here. Well, we're delighted that you've come in to sit down and chat with us.
Happy to be here.
You're the most current, I would say. Apart from, look, we have had some of the Picard people on lately, so it's not fair to say that they're not current.
That's
but
all right.
they're old current.
They're old current.
But you are
old
the most
currency.
current. You know, and I know it started for you. You started the Star Trek experience,
Yes.
working as a person guiding people through.
I was one of the actors in the Star Trek experience in Vegas. I was in the whole full shebang Starfleet spandex, which, by the way, is not flattering. I look back at old pictures going, man, like if I put that on now, it would not look as good.
How did you get? Oh yeah, was that just?
I just
how'd you get this
auditioned.
gig? Yeah, what
I
was it?
auditioned. I saw the audition. I was in a couple of shows out in Vegas at that time. I was in like Tony and Tina's Wedding. I was in a couple of different
Saw that.
like comedy improv type shows. I sang with a couple bands. And the entertainment world in Vegas, everyone kind of knows each other because no one's really a local there. And
all
if you
sleep
are,
to-
you're like a unicorn, kind of like out here in LA. You're like, wow,
You're from here?
you're from here?
Yeah.
What's it like?
Yeah.
Well, having a childhood. But no, I just randomly went to the audition. I had no idea. I didn't know much about Star Trek, but I knew enough to get through the audition. I was a big sci-fi fantasy nerd and never jumped into the Star Trek fandom until I had to put on the uniform and go, I should probably do some research.
So what was your initial fantasy nerdy sort of fodder that you would have?
Lord of the Rings
Right.
got me to that extreme. I mean, I was running around my room as Bonnie Baggins. I had like a little knife in my little butter knife in my pants, and I'd be like, an orc, you know, it'd start to glow in my head. I didn't have a lot of friends when I was really young. They were all like everyone was listening to cool music, and I say cool music, but like kids my age were listening to like New Kids on the Block and different things like that, and I was listening to the soundtrack of Lord of the Dance and Finian's Rainbow and like imagining leprechauns coming to take me away, and I was a weird kid.
So a lot of time in your room.
A lot of time in my room reading. Yes.
Where did you hear about the audition for the experience then?
I think a friend told me.
Right.
I think a friend.
And where are you living at this
Was
time?
already working there.
Are you in Louisiana where you're from in Lafayette at this time? Or?
No. So I left Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina. That was kind of like I should go.
Yeah, God bless.
I was like, I'm going to. It was kind of like I always wanted to leave Louisiana and kind of take that leap of faith. And I auditioned for different colleges. Like I auditioned for NYU, got into University of Boulder, but I didn't get any scholarships. And I was like, I would have to take huge.
What were you going to study at?
Right.
Musical theater.
Yeah.
I'm a theater dork. But Louisiana has a program that if you make decent grades and I hit the mic, make decent grades and whatnot, you're able to stay in the state. And they'll give you a scholarship. So I ended up stuck there. Not stuck. I love Louisiana. I love my home. But I did want to venture forth. And once Katrina hit, I took that as an opportunity to have it push me out of the nest, literally, with like a wave.
Were you still in school?
I was in college. And then I went and did the college program at Disney World in Orlando. So I worked for Disney.
Say it loud and say it proud.
I was a slave to a mouse. It was great.
I worked for the mouse.
We've all worked. I think everyone in their own way has worked for the mouse.
Jungle. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That was my first big gig in America.
I think my last residual check from Disney was for a penny.
You were lucky you got that.
No, I know.
They don't give that penny away
Usually
easily.
they charge you residuals. They're like, you want to be a part of this? Give us money.
So you went to Florida and you went to Disney school.
Went to Disney school.
What does that mean?
No, I did the college program. It was kind of like an internship where they take college kids and they pay you very little to be basically Disney labor.
But there's a Disney way, right?
Yeah.
And what is that? Just follow their rules.
You're supposed to go. Well, they have like the Disney University where you can take classes and stuff. I never did that. That sounded boring. Why would I want to take? I was at Disney World. I didn't want to take a class.
You're getting drunk with Goofy.
Oh, Goofy and I were like this. I would go to Epcot, kind of drink around the world, hang out with the Norwegians.
All right.
The Norwegians.
I would. Go snukker barlet norsk. You know what? That's I speak a little Norwegian. I think my accent's probably terrible. Actually, we'll get into this later. But Klingon, when you're a girl in a Trekkie, everyone kind of quizzes you. I'm sure you get it. Like everyone's
Sometimes.
like, "Oh, you're a Trekkie, then I bet you can't remember this in episode 7 of season 4." I'm like, "Okay, calm down." But I always, when everyone says, "I bet you can't speak Klingon," I always go, "Aha." And I do a little Klingon. And if you speak Norwegian very angrily, it sounds
really
like Klingon. Yeah.
That's great.
You snakker barlet norsk, tusen takk. And they're like, she speaks fluently. And I'm just like, I just said, I speak a little Norwegian. Thank you very much. And Norwegian, but
That's
no.
just my favorite Norwegian dessert.
Yeah. Tusen takk. Which noven er bonny.
Trumkaka is my favorite Norwegian dessert.
How long did you spend in Florida with Disney people?
I was only there a year. I really became a nomad for a while. I lived in Florida for a bit, working for Disney. Then I got cast in Tony and Tina's Wedding. And then I did like a weird 3-month of my life where I traveled to Ren fairs and
Holy smokes.
with like a traveling troupe of nomads, as you could say. They were like 6-7 generation Romanian family of like horse trick riders.
Wow.
And, like all of their horses knew commands in like all these different languages, like Romanian and Italian, and then me trying to get it to go, who just look at me like
in Norwegian.
Where did you meet
yeah, Norwegian and Klingon, like Nuknak Kapla, and their horses like,
what are you talking about?
Nay.
Where did you meet them?
I met them. Well, I met one of them in Florida because he was part of the troupe, and then they were about to go on tour, and they were like, they needed like a announcer, and they needed like an announcer character,
right.
a barker,
right.
like a host
Right.
who can be comedic and improv. And so I became Lady Thistle.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm a real lady, guys. And I was like, oh, it was so silly. But it was basically all the boys yelling at me, like, get back to the kitchen's winch. And I would just yell insults back at them, like, slip into something more comfortable, sir, like a coma. And they would it was so silly.
What was the money line? Not bad.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible. There were days, there were like in between gigs, sometimes we'd like be getting I remember this vividly. Like we would go to the grocery store and we were so broke. Like, we'd have like tortillas and peanut butter, like making like peanut butter and jelly. But instead of sandwiches,
American
it would be tortillas.
toast.
It was terrible. It was terrible. It was really fun though, and I wouldn't change that experience forever. And my mom says it was when I ran away and joined the circus, which she's not wrong.
Right.
I basically lived in Ren fairs, you know, like in like with. And then like there was it'd be like lifting bales of hay to the arena, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Is it a summertime thing or is it a summertime thing or is it a year round?
Well, they do it year round. I mean, now they have their show's a lot bigger and they're doing very well.
What were they called again?
Oh gosh,
The brothers.
Well, the brothers, I mean, Olicio Zope was the head of it.
Right.
I think they're called, oh gosh, I'm gonna mess up the name, and
No, no worries.
they're gonna listen to this. They won't listen to this, but they're gonna listen to this and go, Bonnie, Callisto Equestrian Arts,
Right.
Something like that.
Have they done America's Got Talent yet?
No.
Not yet.
No. That's difficult to do trick riding
with
on a stage
with trick
with a
horses.
horse. Yeah, they would be doing backflips, juggling machetes and fire off of the horse. It was amazing.
What a great experience.
Yeah.
What a great experience.
Aramis was one of the he was 15. He was the baby of.
So what brings you? You've done that. You've done Vegas. What gets you to LA?
Oh yeah, so I did Vegas, and then after a year in Vegas, I was like, maybe I should move. After a year of living in a place, I would get restless.
Do you get a little itchy feet? Do you?
I moved to LA. Been here 14 years now, so
Okay,
my itchy feet. I got a
Stuck.
cream for it. It's great.
LA has a funny way of doing that to people.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? You know, you end up here and you never leave.
And then 14 years go by.
It's Hotel California.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can check out. Yeah,
God, I used to know an English bloke that I used to know from La Poubelle, Ted, and he even spoke with a sort of quasi-American accent. And he ran me one day all depressed, and he goes, I said, what's the matter, Ted? He goes, God damn, Dom, I don't know. I was getting out of the jacuzzi this morning, and I figured, fuck, I'm 57.
How did that happen?
Yeah, really. I never forgot that.
Just
LA
blew up in
don't
my
I just
face.
thought that I was getting out of the jacuzzi
That's
this
so funny.
morning. So you've been here 14 years.
Yeah, I showed up for a weekend, lived in a hostel, and went to an open audition for Second City Improv just for fun, and got accepted into the conservatory. And I was like, I guess I'm going to move to LA and do improv, which, you know, now.
That's a great start.
Yeah.
Sure, it is. But knowing now what I know now, I didn't know, like, being a theater nut, I didn't realize you cannot make a living doing theater in LA. That's what I came out here. I was like, I'm gonna do the theater and do this and do so many wonderful things. And then I get out here and I'm like, I'm gonna be on the streets.
Yeah.
dressed in an Elmo costume.
$7 a performance.
Yeah.
I know, it's a shame, isn't it? I mean, with all the actors in this town, you think, and there is a thriving theatre community. It's just
it's
it's just
incredible.
the city doesn't want to go and watch it,
Yeah.
particularly. And
Or pay for it.
I'll do live shows
we'll
and,
pay
you
for
know, lucky if, you know, bless their hearts. I did a live jazz late night. One of my first ones I did last year and I invited, you know, everybody on Facebook, and I'm really bad at that kind of stuff though, but it was an audience of like 6 of my exes. That was it. And I was just like, this is the most awkward performance
Hi,
I've ever done.
everyone.
Hi, thank you for coming and supporting my music. I'm going to sing love ballads now, and this is going to be awkward for everyone.
this one's about you.
Yeah.
Did you guys all go out after?
No. But I'm on good terms with, you know.
All of them.
No, I really am. I feel like, you know, if it doesn't work out romantically, there's no reason you can't still remain friendly, you know. Unless they, you know, really messed up. You know, you always have the one evil ex. I got one of them.
Right.
Can I just tell everybody listening to this?
Oh. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, you know, you're just not compatible romantically, but if you still care about them and you want to, you know, still have them in your life in some way, I don't know.
Oh, good on you.
So this is like my Dear Abby moment. So if anyone wants to write in with letters, and I will give you love advice, which you don't want from me.
You do a bunch of voiceovers, don't you?
I do. I do.
Was that the beginning of a proper sort of career here in town?
Well, I'm still kind of scratching the surface of making a career out of it.
Right.
I love doing it. Voiceover is probably one of my favorite things to do.
You've got a great voice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do a lot of little kids and stuff and like little voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you always been doing that since you were small? And
It came with the theater.
It
you
did,
know, like
right.
I would change my voice, whatever role I was playing. I always would get like kind of like the wacky characters or like the villains, you know, or so I loved changing my voice and then doing theater out here. A lot of the cast who would also be doing theater with me would be like, you should do voiceovers. I'm like, what's that?
All right.
How did you get in?
Luckily, I had I was doing a 1920s radio play out here that was recorded in front of a live audience, and so most of the actors were voiceover actors and famous ones, no doubt. Like, well, famous now. They were well known back then, but now they've like blown up. Matt Mercer, Taliesin Jaffe, Kali Bear, all wonderful people, and they were the ones who suggested I should get into voiceover and kind of pushed me on my way, gave me a little boost.
Yeah.
And so I owe them a lot. Yeah.
Were you able to, I mean, I was able to sort of stay afloat during COVID doing voiceovers.
I was very lucky that Star Trek Prodigy was happening during COVID. Like we recorded everything remotely. I recorded all of Prodigy from my bedroom with blankets over my windows and
Did
foam
you?
on my
Really?
wall. Yeah.
How'd you get that gig? How did that come about?
Oh gosh. Well, whenever I found out that they were making animated series of Star Trek, including Lower Decks and Star Trek Prodigy, I mean, I think I tweeted it. I shared it on my Facebook. Like, I don't know what strings I have to pull. I just need an audition for this. If anyone has any, I think I tagged Mike McMahon in it. I tagged the Hageman brothers. I was doing all the things you shouldn't do. But
sliding into DMs.
I was sliding into the DMs, as you should say. But I was just trying to, I didn't know who to, because at the time I didn't have a voiceover agent. So I was just pulling whatever string I could. Everything I've booked myself.
That's
or by
no
word
mean feat.
Wow,
in
yeah.
this town
Word
to
of
get
mouth.
any
Yeah.
voiceover gig without a voiceover agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all been by reputation or word
Who's
of
your
mouth
people
or
now?
luck. I'm with Imperium 7 for voiceover, and I'm with Media Artist Group.
Right.
Elsewhere. But I mean, I don't get a lot of on-camera auditions either because I think everyone sees me as a voiceover person, and
They do tend to pigeonhole in this town.
But I did just submit a live action audition, and my agent wrote me back saying how impressed he was because he was like, I didn't know you could act. Like, thanks. Thanks.
You're my agent?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. No, it wasn't like that. But it
I
kind
got
of
that
felt like
email last week too.
It was also for like what was great is that I'm not going to go into the details of this audition, but it was for like a character who was overweight, like plus size overweight, and also like the plain Jane, like ugly character, and also like not fully mentally there. And I'm like, they were like, you'd be perfect for this. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, geez. Okay. Well, I got a niche, I
we
guess.
don't care. Do we?
Whatever
We
it takes.
really don't
Yeah,
care.
I'm
Whatever
like,
it takes.
what? I won't wear my Spanx that day. I'll let it go.
I mean, how do you get in front of the Prodigy people? I mean,
I finally did get an audition. I pulled every string I could, every connection I had, did get an audition for the role of Gwen and submitted it and made it to the callbacks, which was fantastic, which were actually in person at Nickelodeon. And I remember walking in and the Hagemans were both there and they're like, it's Bonnie from Twitter. Like, oh no, she found a way in. like board the doors.
that's quite a line.
But
I love
was
it.
so-
It's Bonnie from Twitter.
Yeah, I was so excited. I had like a little red dress with a comm badge on and my little Star Trek messenger bag, and I had little space boots.
You weren't fucking around.
And I show up and they're just like, oh no. And I think I even corrected the reader. So someone reading with me and they mispronounced Cation or something. And I pulled the actually, and I was like, what am I doing? They're gonna kick me out before I even start. But it was, I loved it. And I was shaking. I was so excited. I was so nervous.
Now,
And then
when you were doing the live show in Vegas.
Yeah.
Did you then just start watching all of it and become well versed in Star Trek? Or?
Yeah, I started watching Star Trek. Actually, a little bittersweet. We just lost one of pretty much the heart of the Star Trek experience. Our friend Vernon passed away recently, a few days ago, and he was the person who kept the experience alive online, and you made all these amazing videos. So shout out to the Star Trek experience family. We're all kind of hurting from that. He was a beautiful soul, but he was kind of the one that was like, you need to do some research. He played one of the Borgs and a couple other characters in the experience, and would let me borrow some of the DVDs, and also would give me a map of what to watch in what order, so I wouldn't be too confused. Because when you go into Star Trek, I think I want to watch Star Trek. It's so much. Right. It's a lot.
That's where I'm at.
You get very overwhelmed, And I started with Next Gen because the experience, the side that I was on takes place in Next Generation. I'm talking to Riker and Geordi LaForge on a screen. And interacting with them. So I needed to know who those characters were and, what a Klingon was and, different things like that.
Really kind of knew. You didn't know much.
I didn't know much. I knew enough to where I knew obviously Live Long and Prosper. I knew who Spock was. I knew the basics, but that most people just from general pop culture knows. I know the Make It So. I knew that Whoopi Goldberg was in it. And so I loved her. So I was like, Whoopi's in this. I gotta watch it. So yeah, I just kind of fell into it and then really became a Trekkie. So I guess I became a Trekkie in later years. One of the ones that didn't grow up loving it. I was more of a fantasy nerd than
it's in the wheelhouse,
sci-fi.
though, isn't it? I mean,
it is. And now, you look in my room and you're just like, my God, what happened? Yeah. It looks like Star Trek threw up everywhere. And, with a random wand rack thrown in and a Muppet corner. So my room is very fandom oriented.
I love it, a Muppet corner.
Yeah.
One of our fans gave me a map, and it's really helping me out. Star Trek map.
Oh yes.
Yeah, timeline.
Tim Potopka. Thanks.
Absolutely, because it does get overwhelming. COVID was great because I went back and did rewatches because I was just like, I have so much time on my plate, and it was just like, wham.
Have you now seen everything?
Not everything. Almost.
Another one who hasn't watched Enterprise.
I haven't watched all of the animated series. I have watched a lot of Enterprise.
I've got
I think I have a season left.
Oh yeah.
So
the good one.
Yeah, the best one.
But that's exactly it. And I'm also, here's with me though, I feel like when it comes to Star Trek, I want to watch everything, but at the same time, then if I watch everything, then what is there for me to look forward to? I didn't want it to end because I know Enterprise ends. I know Voyager ends. I know this ends. And I'm like, I don't want to leave these characters. So I spread it out as much as possible. I've seen all of Voyager, DS9, Next Gen, original series, animated series. There's things I've missed.
Right.
What's your favorite?
Ooh. Well, obviously, Star Trek Prodigy. Obviously.
Oh, good answer.
No, I'm very, that show's very near and dear. I feel like Next Gen is what got me into Star Trek. So that one is always special to me. I'm a huge Data fan. Data. Maybe because I'm also a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, so they kind of go hand in hand. But Janeway's always been my captain.
Has she?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then later, knowing that on Prodigy, when they brought me in to do Scratch for Kate Mulgrew. I did.
Did you do a good Janeway?
Define good.
Passable.
I do a good Katharine Hepburn.
There we go.
So there you go. Or was it odd? No, it's Katharine.
That's Katharine.
Yeah.
No, it's
So
Katharine.
basically, I just do this, and then the animators have something to work with until Kate gets in and does hers. And
Very good.
That's good.
Yeah.
She doesn't think so. One of my favorite.
She doesn't really
like it?
One of my favorite stories is we all had dinner in Chicago at the Mission Chicago Star Trek thing, and it was her and the Hagemans and Ben, the director, and we were all sitting having dinner, and I'm so nervous because for me it's like I still have that imposter syndrome of I don't belong in this world, and she goes, I hear you do my voice. And I'm like, well, I do more of your cadence so that the animators know what's to come. Just do it. Let me hear it. I want to hear it. And I'm like, oh God. And so I'm freaking out.
She doesn't take any prisoners either.
No. And I'm looking at everyone, luckily everyone's I think a bottle of wine in. So I'm like, okay, maybe I won't get fired. So I do the whole like, hello, I'm Captain Janeway of the USS Voyager. Tuvok, Chakotay, do it. And she goes, I don't sound like that. I'm like, no, I told you. I'm just trying to get your like emphasis. She goes, I don't sound like that. You sound like Katharine Hepburn. And I'm like, she goes, I did her on Broadway, And I'm like, yes. And then she just like turns and has this whole other conversation. And I'm looking around like, am I still employed? What's happening? It was great.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
She's really funny.
They can fire you for not sounding like Janeway.
I mean, apparently no, but she was, I think obviously it was a bit for her. She had a fun time. She had fun time making me shake a little bit, I think. But I don't
she
sound
enjoys
like that.
The first time I ever met her, I went over and to introduce myself. I think I'd done Bill's documentary, The Captains.
Oh yeah.
And we were in a green room somewhere at one convention, and I went over to introduce myself, and she looked at me. She went, "Oh yes, I've heard about you."
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? Like, what
all I
kind?
got.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a troublemaker am I?
So you're also a professional, and I had to look this up. TT
RPG
TTRPG game player.
I am.
Does that mean you make money playing these games?
I
Is
do.
this like
I mean, there's
professional
not.
poker, but for Dungeons and Dragons. And
Yeah,
all
but
that?
I don't get paid as much as a poker player does. TTRPG stands for tabletop role playing game. So if you think of like Dungeons and Dragons, but there's tons and tons of different types. And yeah, I get there's one called Star Trek Adventures, put out by Modifus. They're fantastic. And
do you play? Is this played live or?
yes, yeah, it's played live, usually streamed over Twitch or on online channels, and people tune in and watch live, or then they'll catch it later on a
like with the dice and the characters and the
Yep.
And what do they do? Subscribe to your Twitch channel?
The first one I did on a big professional level was a Star Trek one called Shield of Tomorrow. It was on Geek and Sundry. That's the same channel. That was like Felicia Day's and Will Wheaton's gaming type channel on Twitch and online. And they also helped create Critical Role, which is like the big Dungeons. I mean, I think I'm looking at your blank stare.
I'm glazed over right
A
now.
lot of this is, but I guarantee you, a lot of your listeners.
I was winging this.
A lot of your listeners know who this is, I'm sure. There's a lot of crossover.
Keep talking.
The nerd worlds cross. We're going to cross the streams here. But Critical Role is a very popular Dungeons and Dragons show. And they now have their own cartoon on Amazon going into season 2 or 3. And then they have another one being made. So they're doing very well.
Wow.
Yeah. And these are good friends of mine that got me started in the voiceover world, like Matt Mercer and Talis and Jaffe. So they deserve every amount of success that they have. They're amazing. But it was called Shield of Tomorrow, the Star Trek one. And we did it for like 2 years. I mean, there's
You mean the game
hours upon hours of footage on YouTube.
For 2 years.
Yeah, we'd have like 2 seasons, I think, of this show. I was Ensign Lark Sage. She was actually, so this was all before Discovery came out. And when Discovery came out, everyone tagged me in everything of Ensign Tilly because my character was very similar. Like an engineering like genius, but she was also the helm because she couldn't decide what she wanted to do.
Right.
And she was kind of a quirky, weird.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I can see why you would. They would.
Yeah.
Not confuse is not quite the right word, but
Yeah.
certainly, yeah.
And it was just by chance that you developed because my brother played a lot of D&D growing up, and you sort of invent your character. And
I invented the character, and I was playing her for like a year before Discovery even came out, so I had no idea that was happening. And then we did another one called Clear Skies during COVID, where I was the chief medical officer as a Cation, and then Lower Decks comes out and they have a Cation doctor, and I'm like, well, gee, I think I'm doing pretty good with my whole,
Yeah.
How many people are watching
Mind
this?
There's a lot of people who subscribe and watch. A lot of people watch it after the fact. Shield of Tomorrow was very popular. We had, I think some of the videos have like over 40K or something that people tune in to watch. And their episodes are long, like 3 to 4 hours long.
And you're just playing the game.
Just playing the game, but we're in full costume with sets. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah. If you search my name in like a GIF
Do you go as was it?
Search.
Did I see Paladin Bonnie? What was?
Paladin Bonnie. Oh yeah. I was on a reality show
Yeah.
called The Quest.
Yeah.
So it was basically like they picked 12 nerds and put us in a fantasy world. They flew us to Austria.
Right.
We lived in a castle.
It's like Big Brother for nerds, isn't it?
Oh, it was. It was, but we were completely immersed. Like there was no. They like gave us like a bucket for a room to like bathe in and stuff. I mean,
No way.
Well, they would like blindfold us and walk us through the forest every couple of days so we could take like a real shower in a trailer. A real shower meaning like a 5-minute, like lucky if you had warm water shower. But for the most part, like they took all our real clothes away. They let us keep our underwear, our toothbrush, makeup, hairbrush, medication, stuff like that. But other than that, they took everything.
Hilarious. Sounds like prison.
It does.
And we had no communication with the outside world. We had no way to we had no idea what was going on in the news for like a month because we had no access to newspaper, television, phone, nothing.
What, are you staying in a castle?
We're staying in a real castle in Austria, and we were fighting to become the one true hero and to save the realm.
Who won?
Oh God, it's looking back. It was the most amazing experience. It really was. They rebooted it on Disney Plus too for ages 13 to 16.
And how many players were in the castle?
There were 12 paladins, as they called us, and 10 episodes, and I was on 9 of them.
All right, you made it. You
almost won.
Did I read that you placed 5th in the end or something? Or spoilers. I got eliminated episode 8, but then they brought us all back for the finale episode. But it was probably one of the coolest experiences ever. And I was kind of like the bard of the party.
The bard of the party.
It's true, because I would just, there were days where we would just be stuck in the castle with nothing to do, that we didn't know, that they weren't even shooting us. Like we'd have no access to anything. We wouldn't know they would feed us, and that was it. But we had no idea what the next shoot day would be, what they needed from us.
Could you go for a walk?
Not really. No, we were like, no, because then we wouldn't be able. They wouldn't want us to see if they were like prepping anything for shooting. So we'd be stuck in this like tower with our rooms, and like we talked them into giving us like a deck of cards. Some of the guys are going real stir crazy. They would like start punching the walls. They would start like doing like a million sit-ups.
Like prison.
Yeah, like prison. Yeah. It was very much but I would write music a lot. So I wrote like 3 or 4 songs while on the show.
What production company was this? Was this
ABC.
No shit.
Yeah.
Spares no expense.
Yeah. Well, it was really, really elaborate. Like we were surrounded. All the actors were in character like 24/7. They wouldn't even break, even with the cameras off. It was amazing.
And what was the game? Was this a made up game, or was
it was competing to be the one true hero, Dominic? Obviously, we had to be the one true hero. There was no real prize or anything either. It was just
I didn't even get an audition for that one.
Jeez.
It was
sounds hilarious. And it aired?
It aired.
Yeah?
You can find it on Amazon Prime. You can find it on the ABC app, I think, as well, or ABC.com. It was on Netflix for a bit. Now they rebooted it for Disney Plus, and they made like a new one, like completely doesn't like it's like ours doesn't even exist.
Did you stay friendly with any of the other
Absolutely.
contestants? Yeah,
absolutely. The guy I roomed with, we're like brother and sister. I call him Brother Bear.
How about that? Yeah. And how long were you there, all told?
A month.
That's a good stretch. Yeah.
And when you're with people for that long with no other distractions, you get to know each other very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of you knew each other going in?
No, we had no idea. We were from all over the country. Chicago, New York, Louisiana, we were from all over.
Just with one sort of true nerd sort of core about you.
We were all so into it too. It was ridiculous. We have to save the queen. So we're running through the fields with the antidote from the poison.
Was it scripted in any way, or
so? We didn't know anything going in.
Yeah.
They told us nothing. They wanted our genuine reactions. All the actors had like scripts and different things they had to do, but. Kudos to the actors they hired because they had to improvise a lot. We were throwing curveballs at them,
Right.
They were like leading us through the woods. They had an earpiece and they would like improvise things, and the producers would tell them information to give us.
To have them act something out?
Yeah, like the queen the vizier, Creo, the steward of the queen. We had Sir Ansgar, the leader of the army, training us. I mean, it was crazy. Like, look this up. It's a great show.
Okay.
It's
called
the
The
producers.
Quest.
It's the producers of Lord of the Rings and The Amazing Race. So it was the most elaborate,
That sounds
epic reality show that no one knows about.
That's a good mashup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the gamers weren't actors.
No, we were. I mean, I think I was the one that was closest to an actor as anyone because I was a theater nerd and I did voiceovers and stuff. But I went in totally myself.
How did you hear about that? Was that? I mean,
Oh God! So we went. A group of us went to get my friend on it because in the beginning, for the audition they said bring a group of people that you'd want on your adventuring party. Because I think initially they didn't know if it was going to be single people competing or like a group of people, groups competing, like Lord of the Rings party. Like, okay, we have the dwarf and this, like, I don't know what they were thinking. So my friend brought like 5 of his good friends. My friend Coleman brought us all to help him get on the show. And at the end of the day, everyone got cut and I was the only one left. And it was like a room of like 200 people and they kept like 2 of us.
And you were there?
And it was me and
This blows my mind.
yeah. And I was the only one from that casting
brilliant.
that made it all the way to the end too.
That's brilliant. I'm going to say that could have gone so horribly.
Oh God.
wrong.
Oh man. And I was the
you imagine?
least physically fit out of all of them.
The least.
I was the least. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. I was going up against like MMA fighters and like personal trainers and the guy I roomed with, Patrick. He's like he did CrossFit. Like all of them
They were
like
super fit.
very fit.
Was there a lot of running around on barrels in rivers?
Oh
and,
gosh,
and this sort of thing.
We're doing like on certain days that we're not even filming. They'd have us in the courtyard, lifting up buckets of rocks and running to the moat, and I'd be like carrying buckets of rocks on my shoulders, going like, I hate this so much. Or getting the ropes and like doing the
Fantasy boot camp.
It was. We were sword fighting. We were in sword training every day.
Hilarious.
Did anyone get hurt?
Oh yeah, I dislocated my thumb, and but I told everyone it was fine because I didn't want to. Because as soon as you get injured, it's kind of like you're slowly gonna get phased out. They're like, oh, she's too injured to be here, type of thing. So I played it off, but at night I was like,
Oh God bless.
so
man.
sore.
How long? When was this? When was this show?
2014 was when we shot it. I think.
My word.
Right? 2013 we shot it.
I'm gonna
2014.
look at that.
Does
It's
SAG know
fun.
about this? Does SAG know about
That's why
this?
I think that's why they shot in Austria. They got away with a lot. Oh, so it's actually funny. Episode 3, we're on horses. Or is it episode? Yeah, episode 3. I can't remember. We're on horses. Episode 2, we're on horses. And we're doing like a gauntlet on a horse. Like shooting arrows and like jousting and stuff. And, none of us have had like real horse training or anything. So, and I have this helmet on and it's too big and I can't see. And like I'm shooting the arrows and they're not even hitting the target. And
They're hitting the crew.
It's so embarrassing.
Right.
Ow! I'm hitting like a random PA that's running with coffee, and then my horse
doesn't
takes
matter.
off.
Right. You shot me.
My horse's name was Crazy, and I was like, "Why is he called Crazy?" And the horse trainer was like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, and by the end, like when we're starting to get the joust, my horse just like takes off into the towards the woods, and like they cut it for dramatic where they cut to commercial because everyone's like Bonnie like in slow motion and I'm like running with the horse and like holding on for dear life and all they see is
Awesome
then they cut to
experience.
commercial and everyone
Your helmet's floating down over
I
your
can't
nose.
see. It was a disaster.
My God.
So you got an album. It's just released. Is
Sorry.
it this week?
Yes.
Did you tell me on when we were texting? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm making it live this weekend on Bandcamp, so you can find it on Bandcamp. But it's going to be on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere.
Right.
You can get music.
Is this a solo project or is this with your partner in library?
This is a
Bards?
solo album.
This is a solo
album.
So you started in the parody song game with the partner. Is this with your partner in library?
Xander. Well, no, he's gay, but he's kind of like
your singing partner.
Yeah, Xander. Yeah. He's Xander and I are really good friends, and
that's library.
Everyone assumes we're
library
married,
bards?
so we just don't correct them.
Just let him go.
That's the library bards, right? Yeah.
Yes, library bard. You have to do it with jazz hands.
Oh, you do. Jen? Sorry. Library bards.
They got it.
And when did the library bards start? Was that the beginning of your parody?
Yeah,
song
so
life?
Xander was on a nerdy reality show called King of the Nerds, and I was on The Quest. And so we started getting asked to go to these conventions
Look at his
and
face.
talk about,
King of the Nerds.
It was,
Did I tell you or did I tell you?
You
not?
did.
When
You
I
did.
read this stuff, I'm so
literally
fucking
mind
old.
blown.
It was with
This is how I know I'm old.
It was hosted by Curtis Armstrong from Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the host of it. It went on for like 3 seasons. So Xander was on
a
that season of that, and I was on The Quest, and so we were both on these nerdy reality shows.
Right.
And we were good friends, and we're like, let's make a project that we can do ourselves to where these cons are asking us to come, but let's actually have something else that's not on the coattails of a reality show that no one's going to know about the next year. So
why'd you call yourself the Library Bards?
It's like library cards, but with a B, darling.
What are these conventions like? They're different than Star Trek conventions, obviously.
Yeah, well, we do all kinds of conventions. We do everything from the fantasy, sci-fi, literary conventions where it's like very author and
Very
book
quiet.
based. The smaller ones of those are always my favorite too, because we tend to do very well there because we're kind of like the new
Nerds.
shiny toy for
Yeah,
them.
right,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
you
Because
are. Yeah.
because a lot of those cons they've been going on for so long and they have like the same vendors, the same type of guests,
Same
and we're kind of
cosplay people,
different.
the same.
Yeah, and we do a lot of different Comic Cons. We do, and we just take songs off the radio, kind of Weird Al-esque, and make them to be
Right.
about every different fandom you can think of: Power Rangers, Star Wars, Star Trek, comic books, Princess Bride, D&D.
Right.
How many do you do a year? Conventions of different sorts.
We used to do way too many. Before COVID, we were kind of burning the candle at both ends, and we were lucky to break even at some of these. You know, like. Yeah, I mean, you guys get
'cause
it. Yeah,
they're not helping you get there and stuff like that.
but it
are
was
they?
us just trying to get our music out there
Right.
and build a brand for ourselves.
Right.
So we would do like over 20 a year, I'd say. It was
That's a lot of traveling.
It was a lot. And then now I'm doing about 10 to 14 this year by myself, solo.
Right.
So a lot of them Star Trek conventions, which I love the sci-fi conventions because I do a lot of music that's Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Firefly
All right.
themed. So the sci-fi community really.
Tell us about the album that's released this week then. This is a parody, all Trek?
No, Con Artist, my solo album, people always see me as a comedy musician.
Right.
So I decided there's a few songs on there that are funny, that
Right.
have kind of little tongue-in-cheek humor. But I decided to actually show that I'm a singer.
You
on
are a
top
singer. You've got
on
a
top
voice.
of comedy.
I've heard you sing, hon. Do you remember? I mean, I don't know if you remember, but she came up on stage when we were hosting karaoke one time in Vegas.
Oh, you were talking about that earlier. Yeah.
And I did Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Yeah.
But I did the Now You Got the Bridge, Spock, Kirk is away.
This girl can sing.
Yeah.
So you've got. This is. You've got. It's a CD, as it were.
Yeah,
It's-
the physical albums are being made right now.
Right.
It's going to be up for purchase on Bandcamp.
What's it called?
Con Artist.
Con Artist.
Get it? Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And the title song of the album is called Con Artist, and you think I'm singing about a criminal the whole time, but if you listen to the words, it all has a double meaning. And I'm singing about an artist at Artist Alley at Comic-Con. So like his weapon full of lead is actually a pencil. He's a quick drawn son of a gun. You know, he's sketchy and sly. His shade is so cold. So all these lyrics have a double meaning to just about art.
How did you go about producing an album like that?
Oh, God.
I know. I mean, where do you even start?
Oh man, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it so differently. But I did do a Kickstarter. It was amazingly successful, and shout out to all my Kickstarter backers they've been waiting so patiently for this. I had to sadly use some of the money for medical stuff. I had some cancer scares last year as well.
God bless.
Yeah, so it kind of pushed things back a little bit. But good news is that
You're
it's
good. Health,
yeah, we're okay now.
God bless.
But they're half covers, half original music. So my original music, some of it's kind of funny, tongue in cheek, but some of them are really like emotional as well. I have a song about my friend Jacosa, who passed away. I have a song called Enough, which I feel like anyone with imposter syndrome needs to hear. And it's all about fighting that voice that says you're not, pretty enough, you're not talented enough, you're not good enough. And it's all
I have
about.
no idea what you're talking about.
I feel like in this industry, especially, we're all dealing with so much rejection and criticism.
Yeah.
And I
have no idea what you're talking about.
En contraire. But no, I wrote that song as a letter to my younger self
For you.
because I grew up just feeling so different and weird.
So
When
a lot
did
of
you
this
stop
is quite therapeutic.
feeling that way?
Oh God, since I was,
Or have you stopped feeling that way?
Oh, I don't think I'll ever stop feeling that way. I feel like I'm always going to be that awkward kid who a lot of my self-confidence is like an optical illusion. I do work at the Magic Castle. So I'm surrounded by magicians.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at the whole smoke and mirrors thing now.
You don't do magic. Do you sing at the castle?
Oh, I do magic.
Oh, you do
I
magic.
perform with a few magicians
No kidding.
regularly. And I'm during Christmas, I'm their Mrs. Claus.
Right.
It's basically just me doing Carol Channing, dear. And I walk around as an old lady, and it's so much fun.
Right.
To the bar every
a friend of
15
mine,
feet.
Paul
Oh
Roth-
yes. Oh, Miss Santa and I are getting.
You must know Paul Rothman that goes up to the castle a lot. Do you know that?
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Paul. He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good friend of mine.
He's not a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of a friend of mine. Yeah.
Oh, he's trouble.
We're more than acquaintances.
Oh,
Steve
Paul.
Valentine, who I've known forever.
I love Steve.
How about
Steve,
that?
actually, when I got on that,
We arrived in town about the same time 30
did
years
you?
ago. Yeah.
Oh, I love Steve Valentine.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people.
How about that?
Is John Lovick still there?
Yes. Yeah.
I've known him forever.
Look at this.
Yeah,
Look
look at that.
at the magic. See everything. We're going to cross all the streams.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I've been to the castle 3 times, always wore the same suit.
Yeah. We should do, everyone watching. We should do a castle night sometime.
That'd be fun.
that'd be
Yeah, I haven't
super
been in a
fun.
long
I've been up there in a
time.
long
I'm
time.
there all
Yeah.
the
I've
time.
never been. I really want to go.
Oh, it's
I
great.
was,
Okay,
It's just-
well,
it's an-
you've heard this. You've heard this here first, folks.
It's an
We're gonna do a
experience.
castle night.
I think we have an excerpt from her.
Oh,
please.
yeah.
yeah.
Come on,
play
let's
it.
have a listen.
This one's about ADHD. So if you couldn't tell, I have it from this interview.
Now you know.
What's that sound?
We were going to talk about it after.
Exactly.
Forgot to wind the clock. That's why I'm always late. But in my mind, I'm right on time, no matter how long you wait. Giving me a choice. I'm always on the fence. My thoughts are so scrambled sometimes. My words don't make any squirrel.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes my words don't make any squirrel.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can sing.
So that is one of the more comedic songs on the album. So,
Do you drink?
do I?
I do.
So a lot of the album is very jazzy and bluesy feel. A lot of the covers are
It sounds Louisiana based, as it were.
a little bit. Yeah,
yeah.
I love singing jazz and blues, and I just don't get enough. I just don't get enough opportunities to do it. So this was my opportunity to sing stuff I wanted to sing.
That's awesome.
So a lot of the covers are nerdy as well. So like I have Why Don't You Do Right, the Jessica Rabbit song from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Right.
And then I have It's Not Easy Being Green from the Muppets.
Oh,
And I have a Star Trek medley on the album. It's Bossa Nova. It's the original series and the Enterprise theme.
Yeah,
together.
I heard you've got some sort of version of our
it's a mashup.
theme song.
It's a
Yeah.
mash. It's a medley. So it's like
nice.
they medley together. And
That's
then
great.
what are some of the other covers I do? The theme to The Last Unicorn.
Don't know that.
Know what
It's
that
an
is.
old 80s
Okay.
movie.
All right.
And then
Oh,
Story.
the last unicorn.
Yeah.
Oh my heavens.
It's an old one. And
Yeah.
then Storybook Love is the song written for The Princess Bride,
All right.
which is my favorite movie of all time.
Is
and
it?
book. So I had to do that as well as a duet.
Yeah.
Those are the covers, and then the original stuff is kind of sprinkled in.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm really
congratulations.
excited about it. So it's basically jazzy with a touch of nerd, I like to say.
So
You're
what's
gonna be
your?
in Vegas this year?
I am.
Are you? You've got to come up on stage.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm curious,
You have no
what-
choice. I'm crashing,
what are-
I'm crashing your
You-
panel
yeah,
now.
crash, yeah.
What are your convention experiences like? You've got your finger in so many different pies. What did they ask you to do?
That's the thing is I usually have to force my way. I have to prove to the conventions that I'm valuable.
That seems to not be a problem for you.
Well, for example, Star Trek Las Vegas last year, they weren't even going to consider giving me a badge, even though I'm on Prodigy. So I had to like really kind
What?
of, yeah. And then I got very lucky. I'm dear friends with John Champion over at at Roddenberry, and then Rod and I are friends and whatnot. So they kind of Tetrised me in and gave me a few stage time slots on the Roddenberry stage to do my music. I got to open for Chase Masterson a few times. And it was such a hit that they were just like, "Oh, you have to come back and do this next year." I was like,
sometimes they need a slap, don't they?
Well, it's one of those things where
They do.
They do.
Sometimes
I
it's
feel like
really.
I feel like unless you're like a bigger name, they focus a little more energy on that. But I try and explain to people I'm more than just like the voice of the computer. Like I'm in different parts of the fandoms that a lot of people don't know about, like the TTRPG community or the Star Trek The Experience. Like I have people bring Star Trek The Experience stuff for me to sign because that's so rare.
Right.
And yeah, because I also do music. I always try and pitch myself to cons as a music guest,
Right.
because they might have enough media or industry guests already that they're not really interested in me as a voiceover actor.
Gotcha.
So I'm going, this is what else I can provide. I can provide entertainment for like a dinner VIP cocktail party or like the masquerade. I can be the halftime show. I can, so I kind of pitch myself differently to conventions and events.
I really take my hat off to you for it's because sometimes
The hustle hurts.
Yeah, you got to hustle, but
Yeah.
eventually the hustle will, especially if the talent's there and it's clearly there.
But once I make a relationship with these conventions and these places, they tend to want me back.
Yeah.
So they'll take a chance on me, and then they'll be like, "Can you come back next year?"
Good.
And then we'll actually, give you
Fly you there.
a stage time, and I'm like, "Yes,
Right.
absolutely." So
Did you say you were in a band as well?
the Library Bards band is my comedy band.
That is the comedy band.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I thought
we
it
do
was
that, and then I also. I sing sometimes with a Meatloaf tribute band.
Oh my
Okay.
Called
God.
the
Yes.
Legendary
You
Pot
sing with a
Roast.
Meatloaf tribute
Yeah.
band? I had no, my God.
He loves
God bless him,
Meatloaf.
by
Oh,
the way.
really?
Every word to every song that band has ever put out since I was a child.
Meatloaf and
was
Jim
The Bat Out of
Steinman,
Hell
yep.
was the first cassette I ever had.
Mark's got a
wow.
voice too.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do a duet.
You guys definitely. I think we're going to be in Vegas doing the Shuttlepod show this year.
Oh, great!
At some point,
We're gonna get it. We're gonna do a Meatloaf.
Come to the
We'll do,
karaoke night.
Yeah.
we'll do Paradise.
Before I go any further.
Yeah.
He can,
Stop
he
right
can belt.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That boy can belt.
Let's do it.
We just did a live event of the Shuttlepod show about a month or two ago now, and we had a karaoke at the Fox and Hounds on Ventura
so
Boulevard.
fun.
I had no idea.
Yeah, you were very
that
surprised.
this guy could do this,
Oh, we're doing it.
and he.
I need a couple
literally.
of drinks first.
Yeah.
Don and
At least and
okay.
Sure. No, absolutely not.
But that barrel chest can whack one out.
I'm excited. Okay, I'm excited
Yeah.
to hear this.
He's done it at the train station in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There's a
Yeah.
bar in the train station in Manhattan.
That was
Oh,
great.
I thought you were busking or something.
Just like at the
Yeah.
in the. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Got to get that bus fare.
Did it at that Italian restaurant.
I have all the videos, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I've never
Okay,
heard
very
you sing.
excited to see this.
No?
No.
I'll send you the videos.
Yeah, dude.
Please do. These are all Patreon exclusives that are going to get posted.
Right.
My karaoke go-to is Mana La Mancha, the
Yeah.
Impossible Dream.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is your go-to, yeah.
To dream.
The Impossible Dream, yeah.
Yeah.
So some of Bonnie's songs that we can't air right now, we can put on the Patreon page, as
Absolutely.
it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for all you Patreon members,
I snuck y'all a couple tracks.
yeah,
so-
God bless you. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Also, this is a nice segue to Bonnie. You've got a superpower. You can...
Oh, yes, you do,
Oh, I
don't you?
do. Yeah.
Will you show us your superpower?
Oh, sure. I wouldn't really call it a superpower. It's more of a fun party trick.
Yeah.
Sometimes known as superpowers.
Sure, that's true. So I'm the type of person that if there's music always going in my head, and so I always say if you can give me like your name and three or four facts about you, I can usually write a little jingle about you fairly quickly. Yeah, like just like it's the same melody. It's almost like a Mad Libs in my head where I can
All
like
right.
just plug it in. But yeah,
I think I'm just getting from the producer.
Yeah.
We have some bits of information about some of our Patreon members. So
okay,
if you
okay,
wouldn't
yeah,
mind,
absolutely.
Mark, who's what do we got?
Okay.
Our first one is NX7062.
NX7. Okay.
And
What the hell does that rhyme
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Whoops.
with? You chose that one first.
NX7.
Her name is Stephanie. She's the host of the NX702 podcast.
Okay.
She's an Enterprise fan,
Right.
and she has 7 cats.
My goodness. Okay.
I like her already.
Okay. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. Stephanie's the hostess with the most of the NX7062 show. She's an Enterprise fan, but we all know that she's also a cat lady with 7 cats. There you go.
Too bad.
Oh my God.
Thank you,
Give me
Stephanie.
another one. Give me another one. Let's go. It's fun. Okay.
Do you have Kelly?
Kelly. Okay.
Kelly works in education.
Loves coloring books and swears a lot.
Okay. 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 Hold on. I have a funny. I think a funny joke. That I can really. Okay.
This is so dumb. I love it. It's
Okay.
the best.
Okay. Kelly works at a university. She's the one you call if you need a degree. She likes to color all within the lines. She curses like a sailor, but we think that's fine. Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's awesome.
Man, you're not fucking around.
All right. Yeah. Keep going. Let's go. Let's try it. Yeah. Let's see.
Nina. Nina is a geek. She loves dogs and sunsets and is too sarcastic for her own good.
Okay. Okay. Nina is a geek, but aren't we all? She loves dogs and sunsets in the fall. She uses sarcasm to deflect. For her jingle, I needed an extra sec. Sorry. Sorry, Nina. That wasn't as good. I can do better. I'll have to work it. I probably needed like an extra fact in there to like really.
Catherine has 2 orange cats, loves to bake, and likes cheese.
Okay. Okay, Catherine.
There's definitely a theme here.
Yeah, a lot of cat ladies on your Patreon, which I'm a big fan of. I got a cat too. All right, I love it. Catherine's the one who isn't shabby. Talk to her about her 2 tabbies. She wears an apron because she likes to bake. She's also a fan of cheesy plates.
There it is.
Okay.
That's great.
That's awesome.
All right, who's
quite a
next?
skill.
Who's next?
All right, we're gonna do 2 more.
Okay,
'cause
okay,
this is-
okay.
All right.
We're gonna do Alan.
Okay.
Alan is a stay-at-home dad.
Stay-at-home dad.
He likes to cook for his family. He loves sci-fi and video games.
All right. Okay.
And these are all Patreon members. We put up a post on our Discord.
This is awesome. Oh, I'm
and
so
they
glad y'all did this.
responded,
Okay.
yeah.
Alan is an upstanding lad. He cooks for his family and is a stay-at-home dad. His love for sci-fi is his claim to fame. He's also a fan of video games.
There it is.
There it is.
All right.
All right.
And then we'll do
this
one
is-
more.
This is intense. All right. Okay, Tiffany. Okay.
Tiffany loves the outdoors.
Okay.
She's been to New Zealand 4 times. She's
Excellent.
part-time mermaid, and she beat Mark at Star Trek Trivia.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that Tiffany.
That Tiffany.
Yeah.
That Tiffany.
The one that beat you. All right.
She did.
Or beat, yeah.
Live.
Wow.
In front of people.
In front of everyone that mattered.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Tiffany's a gal who loves the outdoors. She's been to New Zealand how many times? 4. She's a part-time mermaid. In the day are dark. She'll beat you at your trivia, even Mark.
Hey!
Yeah.
I'm not applauding for that one. That's
Thanks,
amazing.
Tiffany.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Ta-da! That's fun. It's a good one.
You're very good at that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some
And again,
quick-
it's like
that's some quick
a
thinking, hun.
rhyming game, you know,
Yeah.
for me. There's like an
Yeah, it's like a
improv-
puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's exactly like a puzzle,
Yeah.
like putting in things like a Mad Libs.
Yeah.
So when
Making
you
it rhyme.
did the squirrel thing, was that by on purpose?
Squirrel. I had to include a squirrel reference in the ADHD song. I mean, come
I
on.
was
Right.
pulling your leg, hun.
Should we do some
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, I'm just
Sure,
waiting
let's
for them
go.
to
Yeah, let's do some fan questions.
Great.
All right, that was
You guys
fun.
ready for
My
some
brain's
fan
all like
questions?
awake now. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
All right, fan questions. First is from Sandra B. from our Patreon.
Okay.
If you could interview anyone from the Star Trek universe that is no longer with us, who would it be, and what would be your most important question?
That's a great one. Oh gosh.
Very good.
I would have to say Majel Barrett, Roddenberry, because first of all, I call her Mama Barrett, even though,
Mama Barrett.
well, just because I don't know, she's kind of like the mother of Star Trek, really, when you think about it. And she's been with it since the beginning, and she played so many different parts of it. And I would just love to ask her, if she was around now, like to be like, how does it feel to see this legacy that she, like continue on, and people just kind of, you know, it was a lot of, whenever I got the role of being the computer, I was so nervous because they said, we don't want you to do Majel Barrett. We want you to, you know, we're going to do something different and something new. And I was so concerned that I know going in, this was going to be like one of the first times where the computer actually had lines, like meaty lines, instead of just, you know, like a random red alert. Like I have like some paragraphs going on, and I was like, are people going to get upset that they didn't use, you know, the estate or this or that? And the welcome has been so the complete opposite of what I was expecting. I was really nervous that fans would get upset that computer voices are not being done by her anymore. And
we have been used to the fans being upset at every stage.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we suffered the upset, and they come around. But good for you that it got off to a kicking start.
Yeah, I feel like it's, you know, I think because Star Trek Prodigy is kind of like a little bit off to the side. You know, a lot of people still haven't discovered it yet. And so it's kind of easing in a little bit easier with all the new Trek that's happening. So I feel like the fandom has been very welcoming. And also, I just would want to talk to her because she just seems like such a colorful person, both on camera and off.
And she knows where all the skeletons are.
Yeah, that's true.
Too, but yeah, just to be able to pick her brain and she's like, what was it like being from the beginning and basically seeing it evolve into what it is now?
Yeah,
you know, and then her joining Next Gen and DS9 as, you know, as Mama Troy. It's like, oh, you know, it's just, I just love everything that she's done.
Yeah.
With the character she's created. Anyway.
Yeah, great answer.
Yeah.
Great. Mars from Patreon. Hi, Mars.
Mars.
She asks, in your time working at the Magic Castle, did you pick up any magic tricks? If so, can you teach Connor?
I can show you how to make money and booze disappear so fast. I do know quite a bit of magic. It's not even that I know how to do the magic. I know how most of it's done, because especially since working with the magicians, even if I'm just on stage singing with them, you know, I have to be there watching everything behind the scenes as well. So I know how a lot of magic's done, but I will not reveal a secret.
It's
just the code, man. It's the code.
Yeah,
it is.
But I do love. I am a huge fan of magic, and even if I know how a lot of it's done, there's still magicians that I can't catch them doing it, which is always the best kind.
Incredible,
and they still give me that sense of wonder. I love going to the Magic Castle, especially with people who've never been or like who don't really. They're like, oh, magic, so lame, and then they see some of the magicians and some of the people there that can just do things that should not be.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to explain it and you can't. And
blows my mind what they're doing.
Amazing.
They've taken it to the X Games level now.
It's true. And I don't think people realize how much is changed within the world of magic, because, you know, most people who see magic, they only see it, what they see on like America's Got Talent or like the big illusions on a big stage. There's so much innovation happening within the magic community on a smaller scale that a lot of people don't see.
Am I right in thinking that there are basically 4 magic tricks and it's a variation of that? That's kind of it, isn't it?
It's
So, I mean, in layman's terms.
Sure.
Yeah. And
if it's the same Mars that I'm thinking of, I think they're the one who won from Trek Talks 2 a trip to the Magic Castle.
Oh.
Yeah, because John Billingsley and I we were taking a few people who like donated a certain level, and then their names were pulled randomly, and I think it's the same Mars. So
Mars DeVore.
Was that you, Mars?
I'll see you and I'll see you at the castle.
Congratulations, by the way. Be getting involved with John and the Food Coalition.
Absolutely.
And
I love John.
Godsend.
He's great.
He's great, isn't he?
What a character.
He was our first guest. on the show.
Why? I'm just kidding. No, I'm so sorry. No,
Because
I
he was
love
free.
John. He's
It was
so
free.
So there's a backstory to this. Can you teach Connor? Because he was supposed to do magic on a.
Yeah, I got a job on
Show.
a soap opera, first job on TV, and in the
lied.
audition, they said, "Can you do magic?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I can."
Oh my god.
And I
And then-
couldn't.
And couldn't.
And all I was supposed to do was show the coin, hide the coin, show that, it's a very simple magic trick, and it was a train wreck.
That's hysterical.
His character got pushed down an elevator.
Yeah. A month later, I was unceremoniously dumped down the elevator shaft.
Wow,
without
that's
the
like
coin.
isn't soap opera? Yeah, the
That's
coin
right.
just lands on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever to be.
That's all you see.
Yeah, two coins land right on your eyes. Or the ferryman.
That's very right.
The internet very graciously found photos of your performance.
I know, I saw that.
Oh, they did?
Ooh.
Oh,
What
my
soap
word.
opera was this on?
One life to live.
Well, you did.
And you lived
I have one.
They didn't bring you back as like an evil twin or like.
I think they brought the character back. They just got rid of me. I had replaced somebody else as the same character. Soap operas.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Zeus Zelenko.
Not
was the
practicing
first guy meant to be a tightrope walker?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we lost him.
He went down between them. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. That's really funny.
David Buck from Patreon asks, "You are such an amazing singer. What is the songwriting process for you like?"
You just saw it.
Yeah.
It's
just
literally
saw
going like going into my mind palace like Sherlock Holmes.
My mind palace. Yeah.
For me, I work a little strangely. It's hard for me to come up with melodies sometimes. So, but I can come up with an idea for a song, and for me, I come up with a story first of a song of what I want to do. Parody wise, it's a little different. Parody, I figure out what fandom I want to sing about, what song I want to parody, and then just kind of play around with that. And I try and make the lyrics as clever as possible because there's so many ways you can make a bad parody. That makes sense. But when it comes to like my original music, I honestly see like a story and idea for a music video first before I even see what the song is going to entail. Yeah, it's weird.
That's really cool.
The ADHD song took me forever, which is kind of ironic, but or actually pretty on the nose. But like I had the idea for the ADHD song and could not write it, and it just would not come out to me. And then the first day I ever took Adderall, it came to me in 45 minutes on a plane, and I was like, I just wrote an entire song.
And I cleaned my house.
And I cleaned my house, and then never, and then I got off Adderall.
And it's on a tray table
now
still.
it's all downhill from there. Yep.
It's hysterical. All right. Todd Davis with Computer Resume Podcast asks us on Instagram, is there a chance we may see Lark Sage again in the future?
Oh, so Lark Sage was the character I created on the Shield of Tomorrow Star Trek show, the TTRPG show that was on Geek and Sundry. And oh my gosh, if there was a way to get Lark Sage somewhere in like a show, I'd love it. Again, it would just basically be like Ensign Tilly's dysfunctional younger sibling or something. But I honestly feel she's just such a fun character. She's my favorite character I think I've ever created. And I made her have you know how in Star Trek you have, Picard with his Earl Grey, Troy with her hot chocolate. You have the Roctaginos and the root beers and you always have the drink.
And the pecan pie.
The pecan pie. You always have like the signature dish
Pineapple
or
cake.
drink. There you go.
Right.
That your character relates to. And I had mine drink cream soda. Like that was her thing, that she loves cream soda. And it became such a bit and it became such a thing with the fans who wrote it that I would go to a con and get cases of cream soda, which was great, except I can't fly with them. And I'd have like 24 cans of cream soda in my hotel room and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And then so the next TTRPG show I did, which was not Star Trek related, but I made my character love whiskey.
I was going to say, you gotta make a big booze.
She drank whiskey and then no one ever brought me whiskey. I still get cream soda to this day. And that show has been off, I think, since like 2018 or something like that. So it's amazing, or even 2017, I can't remember. But it's amazing how like people still love Lark Sage. She was just such a lovable character. She had a lot of secrets, which I think people liked about
He
her too.
masterfully told people right at the beginning of our convention world that he was a coin collector. Damn.
Right?
People give
That's
you
some
coins.
great coins. Oh,
He's
God,
had
yeah.
some amazing coins.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the most impressive one, I didn't want to take it from this woman, but I did eventually, was an Edwardian 10-pound piece of gold, a gold coin.
Kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. She,
They are amazing, the fans, aren't they? God bless them.
I collect.
God bless
I'm
them.
gonna
yeah,
make a
everything
long
in this
list of.
room.
I collect. If you look on my Amazon wish list, you'll see a lot of my collections. I'm just kidding. I don't even have an Amazon wish list, but I will now.
Didn't skip a beat.
I'm also a collector of Muppets, Pigs in Space memorabilia, and
diamonds.
yes,
Of dollar bills.
of Benjamin Franklin
Holding money.
portraits.
Donna S. Runyon from Patreon asks, love your songs and seeing you on the Star Trek circuit. How long have you been a Trek fan? If you haven't already, can you do your Janeway impression?
Again, got into Star Trek with the Star Trek experience, and then yes, I can do it, but I can't guarantee it'll be very good. But thank you very much for your question, Donna from Patreon.
Thanks, Donna.
DONNA. Do it, Donna. Do it.
Do it. That doesn't sound like me at all.
That doesn't sound like me at all. You sound like Katharine Hepburn. And I'm like, oh, God. I played her on Broadway, you know.
Last one. Well, it's Riles from Instagram. When we know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
She says, can't wait to see Bonnie absolutely destroy Mark at trivia.
Oh, no. Wait.
This might be good.
Oh, no. Is this happening next? Am I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
this is
It's
the
happening
perfect
right now.
segue.
I'm scared.
Oh, no, it's the
right
three
in.
of us against him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like sometimes you're like, oh gosh, with trivia, and then like if I can't focus and think of an answer, and then I'm like, oh no, everyone's judging me and taking my nerd card away. I swear I'm a nerd. I swear.
Cool. Trivia it is.
Are you guys ready for some Star Trek trivia?
Yes,
I
yes,
hope
yes.
this is Star Trek Prodigy stuff because I'm gonna rock this. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Some.
This week's trivia is brought to you by the Random Red Shirt Podcast. Thank you guys, Zach
Thank
and
you,
Chris. You're
guys.
awesome.
Thank you.
Sweet.
And this week we're playing from Patreon members Grace and Lawrence.
Oh, dear Grace and Lawrence.
Grace and
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Hi guys. So are you guys ready?
Look at that. It's not. I'm not going to shoot
He's
anyone.
ready.
It's on stun anyway. Grace and Lawrence, they made this for us in their 3D printer
That's
Oh.
really cool.
in their kitchen. That's that's proper nerd. That is.
I've been eyeing it all
Yeah.
the podcast. So if it disappears, it wasn't me.
Right.
It's tagged.
Yeah. You're gonna track me now.
It's tagged like toothpaste at Rite Aid.
They're gonna track me all the way to Circus Liquor. Right. Okay.
All right, it goes.
All right, ready?
Ready.
Question number 1. In the Star Trek Prodigy pilot episode Lost and Found, how is the escaped prisoner referred to? A. Dreadnought. B. Fugitive Zero. C. Prisoner X. Or D. Gwen.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh.
you know what it is.
I do.
You guys can
Is it-
confer.
We can confer. Is
Oh, can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's Prisoner Zero.
B. It was B. Accidentally hit the
One
button.
y'all,
And it-
0 me.
That was a fair win.
That was
we knew
weird.
that.
Sorry.
I just said,
I'm
watched
still
the
blinking.
I watched the pilot a week ago.
Though on Jeopardy, you wouldn't
did.
have got that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already know the next one.
Question number 2. What is the registry number of the USS Protostar from Star Trek Prodigy? A. NX76884. B. NX18445. C. NCC 17702. Or D. NCC 18886.
Well, we should just guess. Unless you know.
No, let me hear it again. I have a shirt of it. So I'm like, it's on my
Oh,
shirt.
sure.
Yeah.
A. NX76884. B. NX18445. C. NCC 1702. D. NCC 18886.
Oh God, I'm bad at this, aren't I? I think it's
What do you think?
it's the last one.
I think it's the last one. I think it's D. I think.
No.
I think it's either, now that you're wrong.
I have it on a shirt. It's B.
I know it's NX because it's an experimental ship.
Oh, that's right.
So
an
it's
X,
either
B.
one
So it's
or
B.
two.
It's B.
It's up to you.
No?
I go with A.
God damn it. Okay, I refuse to let this air. You can't let this air. Aaron Walke's gonna be so mad at me right now.
You should have worn your shirt.
I should have worn my shirt. I could have just looked at
Of
it.
course, that would help me faster than you.
Yeah. Dang it.
Because
I have it on a shirt. I have two shirts with it on.
1-1.
Y'all, I'm the worst. Y'all should not. Dang it.
All
It
right.
ain't over yet.
If it makes you feel better, I'm slightly dyslexic, so when anything with letters and numbers, it's really bad for me.
Oh, now you tell us.
So when you're doing that, I was like, oh no, 1704. Like if you put a license plate in front of me, I'm not going to remember. I would be a horrible witness to a crime. All right, continue.
Question number 3.
Oh, geez.
Which Star Trek Prodigy character has also commanded the Enterprise D? A. Captain Chakotay. B. Vice Admiral Janeway. C. Admiral Jellicoe. D. None of the above.
Admiral Jellicoe.
Admiral Jellicoe is correct.
I actually knew that
Jellicoe.
one too.
Were you
I
pressing?
did. I pressed
Yeah, were you
it.
Pressing?
That's the There Are 4 Lights
Yeah.
episode. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
2 episodes.
All right.
I actually did know that one, but it doesn't matter.
Good one.
I am so
Picard
out of
gets
my depth.
And anytime I hear that, I go, Jellicoe cats come
I got
out
nothing.
tonight. Jellicoe
All
cats.
right.
All right,
2-1.
Great.
Rick.
Question number 4. Which future Starfleet vessel makes its appearance in the Star Trek Enterprise episode Azadi Prime? A. Refit NX-01. B. Voyager A. C. Enterprise F. Or D. Enterprise J.
Who got green?
He
I did. I may have stuck myself. It's either the Enterprise J or it's the refit
Zaddy
Enterprise.
Prime.
Final answer?
The Enterprise, the Enterprise J.
Look at that.
Mark's killing it.
All right.
I can't believe-
Looks like he's winning this
Yeah.
week.
Question number 5.
It's all right. I'll write a jingle about it.
Which looks like, if anyone's a fan of Stargate Universe, the Enterprise J kind of looks like the shit. What's the name of the ship? Destiny in Stargate Universe. It doesn't.
Wow.
Only the nerds will care about this.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
What is the name given to the computer in Star Trek original series, The Ultimate Computer? A. Nomad. B. LOL. C. M5. D. HAL 9000.
Oh, come on.
All right, we got it.
Is it the first one?
Say him again.
A. Nomad. B. LOL. C. M5. D. HAL 9000.
So the original computer that was Majel's voice in the original
No.
series? No.
I don't think it was her voice in the original series.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
Ah, it was all
Did we
computerified
think
then.
it because it was
She-
Majel?
well,
it's
She
M5?
did it like this.
She
Yes,
was-
there it is.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you think because it was Majel it would be M5?
I think it was. I thought M5. I
Sure.
thought it, but I could be wrong
M-
because apparently I'm wrong about everything
M5.
today.
Let's go with M5.
Yes!
He wins again.
Yeah, so we didn't lose as badly as we
It
thought we
wasn't
did.
a sweep, it was a 3-2.
I know.
Yeah.
I did click on Admiral Jellicoe.
Good job, guys. You did the best you could.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm
That's
so
all
sorry
right,
to my
Bonnie,
Prodigy
darling.
people. I swear, I have 2 shirts with the ship on it. You'd think I would know.
We don't win often, but we do sometimes.
Yeah. You guys were on a roll for a
Just
minute.
wasn't today.
No, we weren't. We didn't. There was no roll.
No, you. I mean them.
Not
them
you,
too,
Bonnie,
yeah.
them.
Oh, right. Well,
Then plus
there's
get-
no rolling for me except away from here and with my head shamed.
Well, let's go to my deserted island.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I get a vacation out of this podcast.
Well, you have to go on your own, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so we're not. I'm not stuck on the island with you. Like you're not hanging out with me. We're not like.
Well, depending on your
Drinking
answers, I
pina
might
coladas.
show up.
Okay, cool. All right.
All right. So
again.
here's the thing.
Okay.
You're there for the rest of your life,
Okay.
and you are allowed. You're given the complete works of Shakespeare and the Bible, which I think it should be any religious book. but
Sure.
The Bible,
Okay.
whatever. And your
Okay.
dessert. So if you pick ice cream, it's all ice cream,
Oh,
all
geez.
flavors.
Oh. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Your cuisine, French, Italian, Mexican. Your author, their complete works,
Okay.
and your musical choice, your artist.
Oh God.
This is why
And
we
then-
give you Shakespeare and a religious book of your choice, because a lot of people obviously would just ask for Shakespeare immediately, and it
Okay,
it
so I get
became-
to choose.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So your dessert.
Oh, that's tough. So if I choose like one certain thing, it's gonna be all kinds.
You can choose one thing if you want, but I think that's
Because for some reason, the first thing that came to mind was blackberry cobbler. But I feel like if I just say cobbler,
That's such a good thing. You should just go with it.
not the
so
first
I'm
to
going
say
to go
cobbler.
with cobbler, and then I get all the fruits,
get
right?
all
Like
cobblers.
peach cobbler,
Yeah.
blackberry cobbler. Like I can change it up, cherry cobbler.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the best world. Also, kind of like pie. So basically, it's basically pie, but just kind of
Yeah.
not as structured. So yeah, I'll go with cobbler.
Okay.
Yeah. Tim Ross was cobbler.
I agree.
Is a crumble also cobbler?
Yeah, Gates
It's-
McFadden went with crumble, and it's basically
It's basically cobbler.
It's a
yeah.
cobbler. Yeah.
Of course
It's
she
crumble
did. Gates
English
and I,
cobbler.
great minds think alike.
I think crumble might be the English version of American cobbler. I don't know.
See,
that we
great
call
minds think alike,
Yeah.
and Gates minds think alike.
it. Right there, darling.
I know.
Yeah.
Am I right?
All right, your cuisine.
So I love Japanese food. I love sushi, and I also love pizza and burgers and anything like that.
Ron Bean Moore.
Well, if I
and
say
sushi.
like American, but then it could be like, Japanese fusion American, or so that way it's like sushi, but like not as good sushi, obviously. But you
We
know what I
have
mean? Like I
had
can
one-
cheat the answer.
I forget who it was. We called it California cuisine.
Yeah, it was Tim Russ.
And we let him include sushi.
That's kind of because I'm like, I
Are
don't
you
know.
Tim Ross?
Yeah, I am. I'm a lot of people.
That's a neat trick.
I'm a changeling. This
So you're
has
gonna
gotten
go
complicated.
with
What also includes cheese plates, because I'm a sucker for a good cheese plate. What would that be under? That would be under Italian, probably, huh? Or French.
Mediterranean.
Jude. Dang it. What would also be included is
It's
sweet
just a
green.
game. It's just a game.
Look, if I'm going to this island, Connor, I gotta be prepared. The sweet green harvest bowl. That's my favorite thing in the world.
Sweet Green Harvest Bowl?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what
It's a
the hell
place called
is
Sweet
that?
Green, and they have a thing called the harvest bowl.
Okay, all right.
Oh, it's like quinoa.
We're giving you
But I-
California cuisine. How about that?
But
Yeah.
sure,
That is California.
pizzas
That's
and burgers
California.
and
She
sushi.
wants Olive Garden.
But I do love
With all the
Louisiana
free-
food too, because that's like my home, so like Cajun and stuff. But I wouldn't be able to eat all of that all the time because indigestion. Okay, let's go. What's the next
So
one?
which one did you
I
get?
am confused.
All of them.
You can't.
You've got to pick
She
one.
went with California.
God damn
It's
the Admiral
American
kicking in.
Californian. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
This is going to be easier, I hope. You're a musician. Your music.
You're a composer,
You're a composer,
or
you're-
band, or
Oh, jeez. You think that's gonna be the easy question? You know what? I love Queen. I could go with Queen.
Okay, you're going with Queen.
Oh, good. Well, can I just do like a genre like 80s?
No.
Oh.
No, it's got to be
gotta
the
be.
artist.
Well, I'll just go with that. Or it could be Joni Mitchell, could be Queen, could be Sinatra. That's tough. We'll go with Queen.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll stick with some Freddie
what was the
Mercury.
last thing?
Can
Oh,
always
your
find some-
author.
all of their complete works, including future works that they haven't written yet.
Sure.
Yeah, we could have them shipped to the island.
Yeah, exactly. Airdrop. Amazon boat comes by.
I do love. So okay, I'm a speed reader.
Killed by a box of.
I read a lot, so I think I would need something. I would need a lot of books. So I think I'd have to go with an author that has written an extensive world, because I read a lot and also read fast. So I actually might go with like Piers Anthony.
I don't know him.
He was a fantasy writer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
He's written a lot.
He's written a lot of books, and like this world called, I'm gonna mispronounce it, Accent Xanth. It's like a weird fantasy world. And again, this was a long time ago that I read his books when I was younger.
You get one
There's a
bonus
lot of
item.
them.
And you get a luxury
A
item.
luxury
A
item.
luxury
Yeah,
item?
not like a TV or a boat.
No.
No.
A hammock. I love hammocks.
Hammock. There you go.
Good choice.
I love hammocks, and also I could lay in and read.
Nice.
And eat.
I'm not going to survive long on this island. I just want y'all to know this.
It's the
because-
rest of your life.
Oh. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, I feel like I would probably not be good as a
I think the hammock's a
survivalist.
great idea, I have to say.
Yeah.
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 You know, and there we are.
I'll come visit.
Oh, thanks. Okay. If you could bring like some things with you.
Chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Does
Sure.
chocolate cobbler count? Is there a chocolate cobbler?
That's it.
There has to be.
Did I just give up chocolate? Oh God, what's wrong with me?
Here comes Connor with a cheese.
Charcuterie?
Yes, bring me a cheese plate.
Well, bless you, Bonnie. It's been an absolute
has been
joy
so
sitting
much
down.
fun.
Yeah,
with
thank you for coming.
you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Did the
Absolutely.
cameras, by the way, did one camera catch those boots? Stick those boots up, girl.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Now that is sliding into some
I don't know how to,
DMs.
like-
Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Look at those DMs.
Anytime someone requests a feet pic from me, they get Frodo Baggins. Hobbit feet. So good luck with that.
We have a gift for you.
What?
It's right behind me.
Flowers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Aw.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice.
Thank you for being here.
Bless you, darling.
Wow. These are gorgeous. I feel like I'm getting married. Do I throw them to Connor? Like, what do I do? Like, Connor.
After listening to this conversation for the last however long, I feel kind of bad that we didn't get you booze.
Oh, no, please don't think I'm an alcoholic.
Circus Liquor's right down the way.
It is true. That's my neighborhood. Me and the clown hanging out on Tuesdays.
Well, it's been great.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the fans are just going to eat this one up.
Oh,
And,
thank you. Thank you all for so much for having me. And I'll be happy to come by again. And
Thank you.
We'd love to
darling.
have
when
you,
you're,
yeah.
when you're bored and can't find anyone else, I'm down the street.
We
So.
look forward to seeing you in Vegas
Yes,
in August.
absolutely.
And before then, we're all going to go to the castle.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to do a castle
Dust
night.
off our suits.
Yes,
and,
dust the suits off.
and have some magic.
Mm-hmm. That'll be
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah, looking forward.
Show you the castle Bonnie style.
All right.
Right.
We're going to make that happen.
Yeah.
Shuttlepod
Perfect.
Show Magic Castle. That's fun.
Yeah, there's can't take videos or pictures inside, but we can do one outside and Patreon exclusive in the lobby.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
My pleasure. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and join us on Patreon.